So, Coach, first week of fall practice, of course, last week was a little bit shortened due to fall break. It finally feels like fall out here, but obviously talking about the returners, first of all, you return a lot, especially with your lineup, and we got to start, obviously, with some positions that look very deep going into next year, at least from your first impressions.
Yeah, from the position player standpoint, I think, we returned a lot of guys. So you got Isa back, you got Willis back, Goche, you got your catchers back, most of your outfield returned. So I think from an offensive standpoint and defensive standpoint, as long as we can stay healthy, I think we got a pretty good core group of guys that hopefully they build off of what they did last year. And so I'm pretty excited about that group.
And staying on the defense for a second, obviously, with Salo winning the first Gold Glove in program history, you mentioned about returning Darren as well, which was a lethal double play combination. Of course, Tejeda behind the plate and how he was able to be so efficient in throwing out runners defensively, like you mentioned. When this team was on, they were not only the best team in the Southland, but one of the best teams defensively in the area.
Yeah, no doubt. When those two guys up the middle, that's going to be an anchor for us this year. We had some decent arms last year, but when our defense was rolling, it just made our pitching that much better. It just makes your team that much better. So again, made some mistakes, but we got the guys that are capable of overcoming those mistakes. And again, hopefully they've matured a little bit. Hopefully they got better. And again, for us, especially this year with a lot of new faces on the mound, defense is going to be vital.
And of course, pitching as well. You did return not as many guys. Of course, it's going to be a little bit of filling in, especially with the bullpen and where that's concerned and who fills what role. But talk about your returners first of all. Obviously, Chris Turpin comes back for his senior year, and he was able to be kind of that steadying force in the weekend rotation. Brandon Mitchell as well, and some others.
Yeah, obviously with Mitchell, he came back, got a lot of experience as a freshman, which is vital, no different than Warzak and Simple have done in the past. Hopefully, he makes that jump and makes that improvement. Obviously, Turpin's always been pretty consistent. Last year he was probably, I would say, our most consistent arm. You're at least going to get 5-6 innings out of him. It could be, gives us a chance to win every time, keeps us involved in the games, keeps the offense and defense moving back and forth. So I love his pace of play and how he pitches. Then, we obviously have Cortland Ramirez, who's coming back to us as well. So we got some arms that obviously are returning, and the biggest key for us is going to be to replace Reeves Martin and a guy who I feel like was a little overshadowed, Matt Osett from last year. Obviously, Reeves had the great numbers, but Osett was a big part as well for us.
And you mentioned about Cortland as well, and talking about guys like him and Bailey and Chris as well from the returners, guys that could almost fill multiple roles in your pitching staff, can't they?
Yeah, no doubt. We could use Bailey as a starter. We could use him as a reliever, long relief. We could have multiple uses out of him. Same thing with Cortland. Cortland hopefully makes the jump this year. Who knows? We may use him as a starter, may use him as a end-of-the-game guy. I don't know. We're still trying, with so many new faces on the pitching staff, we're really trying to see what the perfect combination will be when we get these guys back.
And of course, obviously, it's still a ways to go in the fall. You got the scrimmage against LSU on October 27th, and of course, the Fall World Series coming next month in the middle of November. But early impressions about who's really stood out among the newcomers for you?
Like I said, it's been kind of early for us, so I haven't got to see too much. But we've got some, I guess, arms that I would say hopefully they step up. They got a guy named Matt Delcom. Obviously, he's an interesting guy. Left-handed arm coming in, was a tech sign, transferred out to junior college in Kansas, so he's coming in early. Left there a little bit early, had another year, but he came in. I think he could be a vital role for us on the mound. We got a couple guys, again, we're trying to figure out Brett Jones, another transfer that's coming in, a guy that I think is going to be able to help us. Just initially, like I said, I saw these guys throw maybe once or twice, so kind of early from that side of things. And then obviously a guy that, probably our most talented power armor, Eric Orsi. Orsi's a guy that got sick last year, so had to miss the season. He's looking better than he ever has. He's sitting 90, 93. Again, don't know what role we're going to use him in, but definitely our most power arm we have on the team right now.
You mentioned Eric and obviously what he's been through and what he's been able to do to work to get back. And he's kind of could be a wild card, we could say, about this or for this pitching staff this year.
It is. I mean, I think he's, you always got to have that one guy that kind of steps up out of nowhere and be the it factor. And hopefully, I think he's capable of doing it. He's got the talent and the arm strength, and he's worked extremely hard. So hopefully he's that guy for us.
Thank you very much, Coach.
Thanks, Manny.